Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, wherever you may be on this wild, wacky, and sometimes frustrating planet of ours. Stamp collecting is fun, and George has just bought a book how to collect so many stamps. It's crazy, and his wife agrees and is grrring, and Adolf is there. Whoa! I've just dropped the tweezers. Adolf is there. His hair's a mess today, and not quite finished off. I might finish it off later and add it. So today, a friend of mine sent me a listing on an auction site saying, and it's for a 77 penny red. So I stuck all that information into AI, and I asked it to deliver to me simple language, and it was so complicated that I just decided to photograph my page of penny reds and send it to AI and said, does this correspond? And it came back with some information. I've got a 77, but it did give me some actually nice information about what numbers on them sometimes mean. So what we're looking at is numerals corresponding to towns. So I thought I'd do that today. So we'll have a little look if I can find any numbers. Numeral. Oh, I can't make it out properly. It did give me some. Numeral 12. Let's have a look at numeral 12. If I was to tap numeral 12 in, what's it going to tell me? So that's numeral 12. I've lost it. Numeral 12, there you are. It's quite a nice thingamajig. Well, numeral 12's barred cancellation, which this seems to be, because it seems to be barred, corresponds to Chelmsford, which is in Essex. Nice cricket ground there. It's described as a moderately active post town in the 19th century, so numeral 12 cancels are not especially rare, but they're still quite collectible, especially say if the strike is clean, which is it's semi-clean, isn't it? And if you're from Chelmsford, you'd want one, wouldn't you? That is all. It says other stuff like if your penny red has a scarcer plate number or an unusual check letter combo, it could give it a little boost in value. I'll just ask value of this. Value of this. This is Copilot, Microsoft Copilot AI. Estimated value £1 to £3. Not bad though. We'll carry on. What about? Is that a 55 or I think that's a 65. So numeral 65. Let's see what we've got there. There it is. Slipped out. Oh, focus. And here we have. The computer's gone silent. This corresponds to the town of Camberwell, which is in a district of South London. Again, a fairly active town, so it's not especially a rare number. It's also got letters. I can see the letters here, SK. Let me put those letters in. Corner letters SK. So I'll tap that in. Let's just have a look what maybe it says about it. It doesn't tell me anything different. It warbles on about stuff. So we move on to the next one. I don't want to spend too long on these. 540, would you say that is? 340? 340? Let's see. Numeral 340. Numeral 340. Something's coming up. Harwich in Essex. Harwich, it's spelt. A coastal town. So it's pretty strategic for mail routes, for maritime collections and the like. Not rare, but they are less common than your major cities. So it may if the strike is clean, which is not, it may elicit maybe £5 to £10. I don't believe that. This is on a fantastic day, on a great day. 848. Let's try this again. Numeral, excuse my cough. 848. Probably the dust. I haven't had these out for a while. Numeral 848 is barred, so it is barred. I mean, it's not the greatest strike, but you can clearly see the barness in it. And this corresponds to Warrington, which is or was a market town and still is. Well, it's a big town now, in Cheshire. Moderatively active, so the cancels again are not rare. If in good condition, comes from a later plate. Not sure what that means. It could fetch £3 to £7. This ain't going to do that because it's not particularly a clean strike, but interesting nonetheless. Let's go down a little bit. What have we got here? We've got Dover here. We'll leave that for now. We'll stick to the numbers 38. 30, numeral 38. If I don't type numeral in front of it, it goes off on one. Numeral 38. This is Carlisle, a historic cathedral city in Cumberland, or Cumbria as it is now. It's near to the Scotch border. It was a significant hub and key for mail to from England to Scotland and back again. Not rare, but desirable. Again, £3 to £7. It's bad. If it's in cracking order. This isn't, but interesting, isn't it? What about 303? Numeral 303. Here we've got. Is it coming up? It is. It's back to Harwich again. So we'll move quickly on. So Harwich again. What's that 9 doing there? What about 883? Let's see numeral 883. But it seems to be, curved here. Now this would be Wellington, which is Shropshire. I'll do 83 after, just in case there's some error going on. And again, it's not particularly rare. Let me look at 83. Numeral 83. Numeral 83, which would be Chichester. This is between £4 and £8 if in good order, if in good nick. But I'm afraid it will take. Oh, I'll just drop these. It would take an expert to tell me if that is 883 or 83. It would take an expert. So let us move on. 303. Numeral 303. You can hear me tapping away here. Numeral 303. Harwich, I think we may have been there. 38. Have we done these 38s? I don't know. Well, what about 223? Here we are. 223. Numeral 223. I'm not doing very well, am I? Messing about with it all. Numeral 223 is Dartford in Kent, a historic market town. They're all market towns back in the day. Not anymore. Again, not particularly rare. Decent centred strike though, in the middle of it. So, that's pretty good. So possibly get £3 to £7 on a fantastic day. So, for that I'm looking at 20p probably. 2-1 something, you can't work that out. 583. Numeral 583. Numeral 583. Sheffield, South Yorkshire. Very common, but desirable. Let's just pull this down a bit. It gives me a little bit more information. The range is £2 to to £5, so it is a lower. And really these need looking at in conjunction with the lettering, which I may have to do on my own just to know what the hell I'm talking about. 263, numeral 263. So this is on its side, but it's pretty clear and it's barred as well. 263, I'm hopeful for this. Dover. Yep, so nothing too special there. We've seen Dover before. 92, numeral 92. Maybe I should have prepared before just diving into this. Done a bit of, I don't know, sorting out, but I'm lazy. Chatham in Kent, very naval, so I expect a lot of stamps to be around there. You know, sailors sending home to their wives, girlfriends, sisters, mothers. £3 to £7 though, so it is quite a nice one. Is that 1144? Or is it 44 something else? I don't think that is 44, and I don't think it's 1144. I'll just tap it in just in case. Numeral 1144. I think that's part of the sort of roundness, you know, the barring. So 44 something. If it was 1144, it would be Woolwich, but I don't think it is. What about 10? Numeral 10. That looks fascinating, doesn't it? Numeral 10. Birmingham. Wow. One of the most significant industrial and postal hubs, obviously, in Victorian Britain. So it's described as very common. Now, I was excited about it because it was an early number, but apparently the earlier, possibly, the less rare. Anything between £1 and £2. 847. Numeral 847. Numeral 847. Is it coming up? It most certainly is. It's Warrington again. We won't go any further with that. 54. 59. We'll have a look at 59. Numeral 59. May have talked about this before. Bath, the elegant Georgian town. Yeah. What about 54 though? Numeral 54. Numeral 54. Oh, they slipped away. Numeral 54 is Battle. What about that in East Sussex? This is less commonly seen. It is also, by the way, the place where the Battle of Hastings took place. Battle. So if in good condition, this can go between £4 and £9. It ain't in bad condition, but it's not in fantastic condition. 847, 10. Oh, I've done those, haven't I? What about 447? Numeral 447. I'm running out of time a little bit, but 447, this may be our last one, and we may carry on until Leeds. So relatively common. 306. Numeral 306. Numeral 306 is a thinner type thingy. Newcastle under Lyme in Staffordshire as opposed to Newcastle upon Tyne. Now this is not especially rare. It was a huge hub, Newcastle in those days with the potteries, so you'd expect that. What about 223? Numeral 223. Are we going to have anything rare and precious? The precious Dartford again. Let's go on down. I think that's 498. And I think that's difficult because of the... What about 700? Let's try 700. Numeral 700. That's an exciting round number, isn't it? But you see here, you know, it sort of goes round. So I'm looking at 700. Newport in Monmouthshire, Wales. Again, not rare. These were big old places. 628. Numeral 628. numeral 628. This will be our last one. Rochdale, which is a historic market town, aren't they all? This isn't particularly rare either because, it's a hub. So it's value between 3 and 7. That is about it. We've slipped over the 15 minutes. The AI was interested in my 59. It did like that, strangely. I can't tell you why at the moment. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a further look, especially with regards to the letters, and see what they mean. 223. Let's try numeral 223. Have I done that one? 223. Dartford, yeah. So we'll call it a day for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to buy books on how buying stamps is absolutely crazy, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now.